Welcome to the Candidate Forum sponsored by the Coalition of Little Rock Neighborhoods at City Hall. My name is Sheila Miles. I serve as the president of the Wright Avenue Neighborhood Association. This forum will be recorded and broadcast several times on City Cable TV, which is Channel 11, before the November 6th election. To avoid bias, we ask our question panel members to work outside their ward. For example, Ward 1 residents will question Ward 6 candidates. Candidates will be seated in ballot order. The question panel will also be seated there, seated in the director's area, made up of members of the coalition, as well as volunteers from the Clinton School of Public Service. Each candidate will have 1 minute to open, 1 minute to close, and 1 minute each to reply to our four questions. The first question will be given in turn to each candidate in that race. For fairness, the one to reply to the first will shift with each question. The one giving the first opening statement will not make the first closing statement. So now we have our Ward 7 candidates.
I'm Kathy Wells. I'm the timekeeper.
I'm Robert Walker. I'm going to ask 2 questions.
I'm Denise Sennett, the president of the Downtown Neighborhood Association, and I will be asking 2 questions too.
Opening statement, 1 minute. Ms. Wyrick.
Thank you. I appreciate you all having us early this morning. It is 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, so I wanted to let you all know that I am B.J. Wyrick. I'm running for Ward 7 position. I've been a resident of Southwest Little Rock for 46 years. I've been working in neighborhoods since 1992, working on rental inspection issues and code enforcement issues. I support police and fire, push for additional turnouts for the firemen and personal protection for the policemen. We will have a groundbreaking for a new fire station this month. Support parks and neighborhoods. I am accessible. I take fast action on issues that affect individuals, neighborhoods, and businesses. I push for quality economic development. We've seen some in Ward 7, such as the Bass Pro, Gateway Town Center, Movie Tavern. All of those are in Ward 7. I will continue to push for infrastructure improvements. We're going to see improvements to Chico Road, Mableville West, and Mableville Pike, which is in front of the new Southwest High School. I have been involved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next candidate is Mr. Robert Williams.
Good morning to everyone, and I'm so excited to be here this morning and doing this forum, and I'm real excited to be one of the candidates for Ward 7, and I'm very overwhelming in joy to have this opportunity to speak before you all this morning. My name is Dr. Robert Williams, and I'm the president of the Neighborhood Association in Weston Hills, which is actually Westwood, but the people know us by Weston Hills. And we have made several changes. When I became president back in '06, I moved in the Little Rock area at 5 East Millwood around the latter part of '05, and I saw some needs and everything that for our neighborhood and for the community there, and I decided to just become a member. And after I became a member and I spoke to the Neighborhood Association.
Time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next Ward 7 candidate is Mr. Edmund Davis.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone, to the esteemed panel, and to our guests. Thank you, Monica, my wife, for coming here, and also my campaign manager, Steve. Again, my name is Edmund Davis, and I am a transplant Southerner, originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but I've been down in the South for 22 years now. I've been a college professor the last 15 years of my life. For the last 2 years, I've been Oxford Valley Neighborhood Association's president, and more importantly, I've been an ambassador to Ward number 7, including Southwest Little Rock, Mableville, and Alexander. And so some of the things that I like to talk about as an ambassador, as a community investor, is number one, infrastructure, of course, to improve and to restore infrastructure, Another one of the items that I talk about is I'm an advocate for youth and young adults. And so with that, being a bridge builder, connecting generations, I'm an intergenerational connector. I believe in doing that moving forward. Another one of the things that I would like to do is to utilize the city's resources and allocate them to where they're strongly needed. And Ward number 7 is in need of some resources. And again, my name is Edmund Davis. Good morning, and thank you so much for having me here.
Time.
Thank you. Now we will begin with questions from the panel.
Shall I start?
We will start with Mr. Williams.
Ask first question.
Your first question. Land developers are pressuring the city to extend sewer services beyond city limits, reversing the long-held policy to add sewer lines only in annexed areas. Is this a good idea? How would this change impact our managing city growth?
I think that it would grow the city, but I think that would be a extensive bill on the city. So I believe that the county ought to step in and help foot that bill. Thank you.
Do they all answer the same question? Should I repeat it?
Davis?
Mr. Davis.
Could you ask the question again, Mr. Walker, please?
Land developers are pressuring the city to extend sewer services beyond city limits, reversing the long-held policy to add sewer lines only in annexed areas. Is this a good idea? How would this change impact our managing city growth?
Right. I think we have to reevaluate what we're working with already here in the city to extend something. And of course, the key word that you used, sir, was pressure. I don't think we should be pressured as a city from another outside entity or any type of agency. So I would definitely talk with my constituents before any decision is made, the residents of our ward, and of course, other city leaders before I make a decision like that. As of right now, I think we need to maintain what we have right now and to help improve and enhance the infrastructure, what we have now, before we can talk about any types of extensions.
Would you like the question repeated?
No, I think I have it. Thank you. We have the legislature that is looking to ask us to provide sewer treatment at will. And I'm the author of a resolution that brought forth to the city an extraterritorial boundary study. That study will look at all the different aspects that would have to be put into the extraterritorial boundary. That way we would know what the cost is and we can share that with the legislature. We know that additional housing does not bring in the tax revenue that we thought it would be when all of the area was annexed. So I think we need to look at the study. It'll be coming out in November, and then make our decisions then as to how we approach the legislature when it comes up in January, which I understand it will come up again. Thank you.
Thanks. Now we have a second question from our next panel.
Excuse me. Little Rock Police are assigned to community policing on and off, leaving advocates doubtful this approach truly is supported. Do you believe in community policing? How would you implement community policing?
Okay, we'll start with Mr. Davis to answer that question.
Gee, thank you for that great question, Ms. Ennis. Yes, I'm an advocate of community policing, and as a historian, I've looked back in several neighborhoods in the past, whether it be in the 1960s or 1950s or 1970s, I've seen some effective implementations of community policing where, as I said I was earlier, a bridge builder. I like bridging the gaps between not just law enforcement and citizens, but also, of course, firefighters, EMTs, having different programs set up in place. That way young people can know who officers are before anything egregious happens. I think that, again, is important. With community policing, you have young people getting in the back of the squad cars, okay, just to do it because it's a good thing to do. It's called bridging the gaps in bridge building. So I'm a firm believer of community policing, and any other programs, I would have to talk to my constituents of the ward to see what they will want as it relates to building that into a better relationship with community policing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Warwick?
Thank you for the question. I believe in community-oriented policing. I've been pushing for that since I've been on the board. I believe our police chief is committed to adding or increasing the number of COP officers to 15 this year. In Southwest, we have 2. We're supposed to get 4. It all has been hinging upon the number of police officers that we have in the community. So I hope he sticks with us with his comments that he wants to add community-oriented policing. I'm looking forward to it. I think the neighborhood really like the COP officers, and they seem to know what's going on. You can go to a neighborhood meeting, and they know the people in the audience and understand what their issues are and what their needs are. So yes, I believe in COP. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Yes, thank you so much for this question, because this is a very concern of mine. It's all about trust, and the people knowing that they can trust the officer, and having the officers in place. If we continue to switch officer every month or every 2 months, the people will not trust the officer. So having the officers there where the people can trust them, more things can get done, and the officer can help the people a whole lot better. So yes, that is very, very good that we have officers in place. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question by Mr. Robert Walker, and we will ask Director Wyrick to start.
State highway officials divided opinion in the community when they set aside the local transportation plan, calling for a network of streets to be expanded in favor of a single solution to traffic problems that would put a 10-lane expansion of I-30 through the downtown area. Success of this project relies on further expansion along I-630 and at Baseline Road. It would rearrange the downtown grid, requiring city spending to handle the results. Do you support the I-30 project today?
I do not support the I-30 project. I think it's excessive in the amount of lanes that it's bringing across to the Arkansas River. It will, as you indicated, dump a lot of traffic into our city streets. We do not have money allocated to improve those streets. I think it's the wrong plan, and I would like to see some changes, some variations, so we don't have that impact on our downtown streets. We put a lot of money into improving downtown, and we need to continue, be able to continue that without the additional traffic on streets that we have not planned for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Would you like it repeated?
Oh, no, I thought you asked close. No, I'm fine with it. What I'm concerned about is that the streets that we have now in Little Rock, we want to build, extend lanes, and we want to add on, but what about these streets in Little Rock? We got more potholes that we can't even drive down the streets, and we're concerned with building extra freeway because we feel like that the traffic is clogged up. But what about the streets that we're driving down every day? Because some people do not take the freeway, and we have to go around and change lanes back and forth in order to just get home. So I can't take the freeway to get home. I have to take the regular road. And so that's what we need to be more concerned about. So I'm not in agreement with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Yes. Due to a lack of funds, and also by me canvassing various neighborhoods in Ward 7, explicitly Southwest Little Rock, a lot of our constituents don't support this, and I'm just an ambassador. I'm a representative of them, and so I don't see to it why we should use more energy resources to that. Plus, we have some current infrastructure deficits we have to address. I've been living in Southwest Little Rock / Mapleville for nearly 16 years, and it seems like I get caught by trains at different sections. So, of course, we've got some things coming down the pike, as I understand. But again, to answer your question, no, ma'am, I don't support it.
Thank you. Now we would proceed to our next question by our next panelist, and we will begin with Mr. Williams.
What do you expect to accomplish in your 4 years?
I have met with a group of people the other day, and they was concerned about the city moving out too far. And we need to bring back to the community and have more organization for us with the community. I met with a group of people also that donated several land to the city. And prior to that, they was keeping the land up. But when the city took over the land, it have grown up. And they took me out and showed it to me, and they said, we would love to have a community center here. So we want to go back to having a community organization with the city working with us, building back of these community centers that we used to have long ago, and that have taken away from the people of the city, and it have raised crime, because the city belongs to the people, not the people to the city. Thank you.
Time.
Mr. Davis.
Thank you. Great question. My plan for 4 years, there's a litany of things I want to address. Number one, for people to actually know the inner workings and hidden mechanisms as it relates to ward directors and how they operate, and of course to be a visible person in the schools. Fifth graders should know who the ward director is. Graduate students should know who the ward director is if they live in that particular ward. I think that's essential to the city growth. Also, of course, one thing I like to do is to let people know about what this is right here. It's a map of Ward 7. This should be in every school building, not just in Ward 7, but in the city. I think it's important for them to know the boundaries of the ward. So in 4 years, that's the minimal things that I would try to cover, that make that available to students, that make it available to parents. I have a lot of young people and people my age in their 40s who have no idea of Ward 7 or what it increases and what it details. And so that's number one. The other thing I would like to do is to have it not be a food culinary desert as far as healthy food is concerned.
Time.
Ms. Wyrick.
Thank you. I want to continue with my infrastructure improvements. I addressed some of those earlier. I want to work with the school district in regards to the new Southwest High School. It's going to be the finest school in the state of Arkansas, and I want to make sure that I am involved in that. I also want to work on improvement in our parks and in recreation facilities for our children and for our seniors. I like to say that there are groups out there that are wanting to support the kids 6 through 11 years old. There's a need for that. I want to help with that. And then I also want to improve the quality recreation for our seniors 50 and over. So I have a lot of things that I want to work on, quality of life issues such as code enforcement and rental inspection. In the city, in Ward 7, we have 3,309 rental properties, and I want to push for rental inspections for those. So I have a lot of things that I want to continue the progress with and improve in Ward 7. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will begin with our closing statements, and we'd like to begin our closing statements with Mr. Davis.
Again, thank you, board, to our guests for allowing us to have this platform, this opportunity. And again, if you want to enhance the quality of life in Ward 7, vote for Edmund Davis. I'm an ambassador of young people, people my age and older citizens. Okay, I think it's important, it's essential. If you want to go with the changing times in this country and in this city, I'm a community investor. You know, people know me from what I've done at the school level, at the college level, at the community level. I think it's essential to be visible and to be out there and to hear the people's voices, to learn the people, and also to love the people. And that's what I do. I like and I love people. And of course, also in closing, investing from within the community is essential. You know, we can take things and use inside people on the inside of our ward instead of outsourcing. I think that's important. Again, investing from within the community is important. Again, vote for Ever Davis. Vote for Ever Davis, November the 6th.
Time.
Thank you, Ms. Wyrick.
Thank you. I retired from Southwestern Bell AT&T after 34 years, and then I went to work for the state of Arkansas for 15 years. In my course of employment, I've always dealt with customer service. In those jobs, I have solved problems and improved performance. That is why I think I'm the right person for this job. I believe the customer or citizen is always right, and I get great joy in proving that to the city staff or officials. If you walk out your front door and take one step, everything you see is something that has to be taken care of by the city. I pledge to take care of those issues for you and continue to make the staff and myself be customer or citizens friendly. I have the experience and the passion, and I want to serve. I'm asking for your vote in November. I'm first on the ballot, so you can't miss me. I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Williams?
Thank you so much. I want to say in the last few years, I have worked very hard as a president of the Neighborhood Association of Westwood and making several changes, and we have accomplished those changes. I want to also say that helping the people of the city to be able to walk out their front door with no problem at all, be able to sit in their front yard and not worried about people running down the streets and robbing them or coming out of the back alley and robbing them or doing something to them. That's the type of city that we need, and that's the type of city that we want to live in Little Rock, and that's what we want to get back to, this type of city where we are safe and we are confident that the city of Little Rock would be the #1 city in America as being the best city and not the worst city. And that's what we're looking for, and that's what we're trying to do. So thank you for the opportunity, and I want to be the next city director for Ward 7, the man in the heart of the city, with the people of the city in his heart.
Thank you. Thank you for participating in the Coalition of Little Rock Candidate Forum. And these are the candidates who are running for city director for Ward 7. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This concludes this particular forum taping. Thank you.
Thank you so much.